Well, listen, we heard a variety of views yesterday as a result of this, and we'll go through some of them. I want to say that I think Harry Reid gave us the best example of what the far-right position on gay marriage should be. Let's say you're someone who, for whatever reason, has decided you don't think that gay marriage is something that should take place. Of course, I completely disagree with you. I think you're going against basic civil rights, etc. I think that the furthest right position we should ever hear from anyone is what Harry Reid said. And Harry Reid said in a statement that his personal belief is that marriage is between a man and a woman, and that the issue should be left to the states. And then he added, and this is brilliant, Lewis, in a civil society, I believe that people should be able to marry whomever they want, and it's no business of mine if two men or two women want to get married. And he goes on, the idea that allowing two loving, committed people to marry would have any impact on my life or on my family's life always struck me as absurd. That's what the far-right position should be on gay marriage. You know, personally, there's something about it that bothers me, which I don't agree with. That being said, there is no reason to think that two people getting married, two men or two women getting married, would have any bearing on me, and there's no reason that they should be prevented from doing so. Is that a fair far-right barometer? I mean, that's considered liberal, let's be honest, in this country, but that's as far-right as anybody should ever be on this issue.
I mean, I of course agree with you, but also I think this whole idea that let's leave it to the states to decide, I mean, it's kind of bogus. I mean, civil rights, if this is considered by Obama and Harry Reid, and they didn't use that exact language, or at least Harry Reid didn't, if it's a civil right, then
why are people voting on it?
The Civil Rights Act didn't depend on what each state's population thought about it. It wasn't put up to a referendum. It was enforced via a national law by soldiers. So I don't think that because it's a civil right, you can now say, oh, let's leave it to the states. It kind of doesn't jive.
I agree with that. My point is that the big thing is saying that the idea that it would impact any straight person's marriage or relationships in any way is absurd. But Lewis, we have to get back to that, which is this shouldn't even be up for a vote.
Gay marriage?
Right.
Well, I think it makes sense to do it at the state level because of all the opposition against it.
Yeah, but not to vote on it.
No. No.
Just to basically decide, have each state decide that this is what is right.
Right.
John Boehner was asked about this, and he said, my focus is the economy. Sure it is. Really? Then how come you've been doing nothing to that end for the last 2 years? The focus for Boehner is the economy. I love it. And then we have Mitt Romney. What did Mitt Romney have to say about this? Mitt Romney getting very irritated yesterday, generally, Lewis, by having to answer all sorts of questions that make him actually take a position. Like, for example, he got really irritated, I think it was in Colorado, when he was asked, what's your position on immigration? And that was an irritating question to him, as well as what's your position on marijuana? Here is Mitt Romney standing by his opposition to gay marriage, opposition that clearly didn't exist when he was governor of Massachusetts, certainly not when he was running against Ted Kennedy for Senate. No problem there. He was going to fight for gay rights. But he is maintaining that opposition that apparently existed in some kind of fantasy world. Let's take a listen.
I have the same view on marriage that I had when I was governor, and that I've expressed many times. I believe marriage is a relationship between a man and a woman.
There we go. Okay, so he's continuing that. So apparently Mitt Romney has the same position that his grandfather had, right, on what marriage was. Oh, wait, no. His grandfather thought marriage was between one man and 5 women. So let's see. I guess he has the position he had when he was governor. Oh, wait, when he was governor, gay marriage was legalized in Massachusetts. Oh, so it's not that position. I guess it's the position he had when he was running against Ted Kennedy for Senate, where he said he would be a stronger advocate of gay rights than would Ted Kennedy. Oh, no. It's not that view either. I guess he has the same view he's always had, guys.
Do you know what we need for people like Mitt Romney? We need an interview where he can only say yes or no. And the questions are framed like, will you do this? Or is your position on this A, B, and C?
It's basically a lie detector test, right? Where you establish a baseline and then you have to just ask yes or no questions.
You know, I think that his views have been consistent. His view has always been, my views change depending on what campaign I'm in, my constituents, and the people who ask me the questions.
Yeah, he's really
the most consistent on inconsistency.